podcast for those who suffer, which is everyone.
It's a space where we can speak honestly about what it feels like to be in desolate places without losing hope.
Welcome to In the Thicket.
It's 2025, y'all. Welcome to new listeners, old listeners. This is our first episode of 2025, and we're looking at something that people tend to do a lot at the beginning of the year, which is kind of look back at the year before, the things that were, the things they wish had been. And a topic that kind of comes with all of that is regret. This is a topic that's been requested by people, so we're happy to talk about this, and we hope that it's something that's helpful for you. God bless you and Happy New Year.
Happy New Year!
Happy New Year, everybody.
I saw the 3, 2, 1. Like, we get a little countdown that tells us when it's going to start. And I was like, 3, 2, 1. I was like, oh, it's a countdown. We can say Happy New Year.
Oh, yeah, that's kind of fun,
That's
actually.
kind of fun.
Yeah,
I didn't think about it.
Can I just say, I just realized just right now that so we've actually recorded a couple of other episodes that'll be aired in the coming weeks, and this is the episode that we're recording as the first one that's coming out. But if you're watching on YouTube, you might be confused because I did indeed chop all of my hair off. So now I have a very short haircut, and then in the coming videos, I'm going to go back to long hair.
It's like magic.
That's right.
Movie magic.
Her hair
hair,
grows
which is
really
fun.
fast.
That's right, exactly. But that's fun. 3, 2, 1, Happy New Year. I love that.
There we go. That's
Yay.
good.
Welcome.
Yes, indeed. So if you have not looked at pictures of us before, go ahead. I mean, people have seen, I don't know, do they know what we look like or just what we sound like? What do people do when they listen to podcasts?
They can know what we look like.
They could.
They
Anyways,
could.
look Erin's haircut. Because I was saying to her, I think Erin now looks a little bit like the character Joy from Inside Out.
Joy from Inside
which
Out.
is
That's funny.
very lovely.
That's
And
cute.
so, anyways, it's very fun.
That she's so cute.
But okay, so this is our first episode back for listeners. Well, and I briefly accidentally posted one episode, so you may have gotten a sneak peek of an upcoming episode, but we've then posted that one. So this is our first real official episode for the new year. We're so happy that you're with us, so happy that you're still listening to us on this podcast on suffering.
And we're happy to have you back, Nicole, because I'm all out of order.
Yeah.
So you were feeling not the best at the beginning of the year, but then we were, so the next couple of episodes.
So the next couple of episodes, I'm just going to bow out. Erin's hair is going to grow back. It's going to be a little chaotic.
2025 is insane. Nothing is as it was. Yeah.
I'm stabilizing. I'll just be pretty much
Rachel
in the
is
same
there.
spot.
That's right.
With kind of my hair
Rachel's
in a
our consistent
ponytail with
person.
this headband on.
Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
I'm going to be not feeling well in the future for the 2 episodes, and then I'll feel great again, hopefully.
That's hilarious.
So it's good.
Yeah. It's fun.
But we're here. Why don't we, so what did you guys do for New Year's? Did you do anything? Erin, what did you do?
Yes.
Over Christmas, I did a lot of music
for
stuff.
New Year's.
For New Year's. Sorry.
Yeah.
I did. I guess the same thing. I did music for the anticipated mass, and then I went over to a friend's house, and they had like a little New Year's thing or whatever, which is fun because they play like parlor games, so that was good. And then I went home early, so I did not stay until midnight, and I was in adoration at midnight, which was lovely.
Oh, that's really beautiful.
Beautiful.
Yeah,
I love that.
it was great.
Yeah.
That's the best. We
you
started off
go.
with the best one.
I know, right?
Well, I was playing a Lord of the Rings style adventure board game with my siblings and their spouses. And then we realized it was about to be midnight because my sister-in-law Maddie was like, oh, guys, it's like, 30 seconds to midnight. We're like, oh, okay, cool. And then we kept playing. And like 10 seconds before, we're like, oh, okay. And then I don't know if we counted down, but we had a little bit of like sparkling wine and like there were people on the street kind of doing fireworks. So we kind of stood at the window of my brother's house and like watched the fireworks for like, 5 seconds, went back to the game.
Nice.
And it was great. We had lots of, really snacks that are really bad for you.
Excellent.
And it was awesome.
Nice.
There you go.
How about you, Nicole?
We did. So I went to bed early. I woke up and it was New Year. But before, in the afternoon, so we go to a Romanian Byzantine Catholic church. And so our priest and his family he's from Romania. And so they had a Romanian New Year's party, aka we celebrated the countdown to New Year's at like 4 p.m. Central Time, which was midnight in Romania. And so that was great. So we were able to like have sort of a New Year's party and see all our friends from church, and then go home, and it was 7 p.m. And then I think we watched a movie, or we watched an episode of a TV show or something, and then I just went to bed. So that was great.
Nice. Yeah, you got all of the things. Sleep and the countdown.
Yeah,
exactly.
Perfect. Best of all worlds. Yeah.
Best of all worlds. Yeah, exactly. Okay, so today we're talking about regret.
Yes.
And we chose this as our like New Year's topic because this can be something that, you know, as we reflect on our year that's passed and starting a new year, maybe sometimes we feel regret like over, you know, or we could be tempted towards that or think about the past, right? And we've been chatting, the three of us and our secret friend, just about kind of our breaks and just over the holidays. And most of us had this sort of similar experience where, you know, being out of routine, being with people that we aren't normally with day in, day out, kind of threw us all for a loop in different ways. And it's like it's when we're in these times that we kind of almost step outside of our routine, step outside of the status quo, and start to think about like, what is my life, and what is, you know, and all these things. And I think that's where maybe we can have that experience of regret. But let's just start and try to define what regret is. And this is not the official definition. This is the Rachel, Nicole, and Erin definition, so that we can all be on the same page. But how do you guys define regret?
Yeah, so I think when I think of regret, I can think of, I mean, mostly from my own experiences of when I have regret, and it would be either when I'm thinking about something that did happen, like an event or something I said or something somebody else did or whatever, and that I wish I could change or that it didn't happen, or I'm thinking about something that I wish I had done, like something that I wish had been part of my life, or that I had gotten around to, that I wanted to do, or and then I just didn't get to do it, you know? So it's like either way, it's kind of the sense of like something missing, like something that I wish would be or should have been and was not, or the other way around. Yeah. How about you, Rach?
Yeah, I first of all, I just want to shout out Gregory Charles Warner,
yes,
a seasoned listener who recommended this topic. Also, very, very dear friend of mine in my cohort at school. So, hey, Gregory.
Nice.
So he inspired this, and he and I have talked about this a bunch. And I think for me, I don't feel like I experience regret a whole lot based on this definition, which is kind of similar to yours, Erin, which is like something that I wish I had done that I never did, or something that that I did that I wish I hadn't done. I guess on the second one, like there are things obviously like sin. I regret my sin in a certain. Of course, I regret it. I wish I had not sinned, for sure. But I think that for me, when I think about regret, it's not like I don't know, maybe there is healthy regret, but I don't think of regret as a very helpful thing. I think that's why I try not to kind of do it, because I'm like, I don't know, you can't do anything about it.
Like it's different than repentance in some way, right?
Yeah. So I'm kind of just sort of like, well, what's the point? You know, so I don't really, because I'm like, if I wish I hadn't done something, it's not going to change the fact that I did it. So I'm just that kind of person. Right. I have lots of friends who really do struggle with this. And you know how everybody has like a thing that you struggle with? Like I have a girlfriend at home, like from Canada, who like, we've talked about it a lot, because she's someone who is like, I really wish, like, and it plagues her a lot. You know, I wish I hadn't done this, or I wish I had done this. And it's not something that I experience, but I think that it's a really serious cross for many people, that it's like, you go through your life and you're like, you know, if only I had fill in the blank done or had not done whatever. So that's kind of what I think of when I think of regret.
Yeah.
Yeah. How about you, Nicole?
Yeah, I think I'm similar. Yeah, I think I'm similar in that, like, I think of regret mostly as when I'm thinking about my own actions. I haven't usually thought about regret as like, oh, I regret that someone did this, and I usually am like, that's like resentment for me. But regret, is just like, I can think about certain things in my life where it's come up in my mind. There's like, you know, it's like kind of overplayed thoughts in my mind. It's like, you know, on the rotation of man, like this one thing that I said to this one person that one time, like that really impacted them in a negative way. And I wish I hadn't said that. And I can't believe, or, this one thing that I did, or this one, just these decisions that I made that had these ramifications. Like, how did I even get to that point? Or why did I do that? That's, I think, what I often think about with regret. But yeah, I agree that there's maybe like a healthy element of regret, which is like, because I think the opposite could be true, where if you never examine your own past actions and you're just like, well, whatever, I'm only moving forward ever, then there could be, you could be further, let's say there's patterns of behavior that are negative and you never look at those and you never acknowledge the fact that you too are, that I too am a flawed human being capable of hurting people. Then I think that that's not good. So there is a sense in which, looking back at my own negative actions is a good thing sometimes, right? Like we need to do that in order to go to confession, right? We do an examination of conscience, where have I sinned? So I think there's like a healthy element. But I think that, easily it could become like almost obsessive, or where now I'm not just repentant, but I am like obsessed with my own imperfection and feeling like shame about that. And feeling like I'm defined by this moment or any of those things. And I think that's where it gets into something that's not helpful. And not something good. I don't think God works that way.
Yeah. Like I think if we're defining regret, then it would exactly involve that is like somehow like dwelling in something in kind of an unhealthy way, right? Because there are other words to describe the other things. Like if we're like if we're sorry for something, or if we're disappointed by something, or if we're something like that. But if I'm thinking about regret in my own life, I think a lot of my regret, not so much has to do with things that I've done or not done before. Although, especially for ministry stuff, I feel like that's a huge thing. Like I can think back to when I was a youth minister and I'm like, I knew nothing. I don't know how anybody like trusted me in this position with these vulnerable young people. And then I can think of like conversations that I had. I'm like, oh gosh, that was not.
Oh my gosh, you're right. That is, I do actually have one regret, like a real regret. Like I wish that I had not, if I could go back, I wish I had never done that. And that was when I accidentally introduced the show New Girl to a group of 7th graders that I was teaching, prepping for confirmation. And I don't know what I accidentally brought up a New Girl reference to these children. And then they were like, and I was like from New Girl, like as if I was talking to like, what the heck is wrong with me? And they were like, what's New Girl? And I was like, and then it dawned on me, I was like, oh no, this is not a show that you guys should know. And then I was like, no,
I love that that's like, your one regret.
It was so bad. And now literally I always think about it and I'm like, oh my gosh, Lord, what happened to those children? Possibly corrupted, because they definitely, after I was like, no guys, it's not a good, you know what, forget about it, don't. And then they were like, oh no, what is it? And then they were
now we're interested.
Yeah, exactly. So it was really bad and I can't take it back, and it happened. And so I pray for those children. Like they're like adults now probably.
That's so
they're
funny.
Definitely adults now, but I'm like, I definitely may have corrupted some 7th graders when I was supposed to be preparing them for the sacrament of confirmation. So
that's hilarious.
I feel like that's a good example because I don't remember.
Well, I can say my thing. We just had to take a break, you guys, everybody listening, because we had a little tech blip. But I was talking about this like confirmation class that I totally led off the rails. Actually, it was the rest of the class was great. It's just this one thing, and it just like has made its home in my head. And I'm like, oh my gosh, what happened to these children that I corrupted? But I was telling Nicole, I think like the reason, like I've done way worse things in my life, just so people know, like that's not.
Sorry, Rachel, can you hold it?
Oh yes, sorry. That's not the. Like we've all done terrible things. I've done terrible things in my life sins, and I've regretted those things. But I find those, I can repent of things that I've done wrong when I know that like the consequences of them. I kind of see the consequences more clearly. Not all the consequences, obviously, but like I can see a lot of the major consequences right in front of me and the people that are around me. These were kids I don't get to journey with. I don't have an opportunity to try to rectify what I've done or anything like that. And so I think for me, the fact that there's an unknown element to my action in terms of how it might have impacted these kids makes it more like, oh, I wish I had not done it. Whereas
unknown.
Other things that are not as unknown, I know that I can't undo it, but I also know I can like bring it to the Lord more specifically. I'm like, Lord, this is what I did. This is what's happening. Please transform it. And I can always pray that.
Yeah.
And I still can, honestly, I can totally pray that. And I do with this situation. But it's more challenging, I think, for me because I don't know what the consequences of my slip up were. So.
Yeah.
I think
no, you go ahead.
Okay. I remember what I was going to say. Well, I think that's a good example for two reasons. One is I think the unknown thing is like, and that resonates with me. And I was saying to Rachel while we were kind of in between things and trying to figure out our tech issue that like I have a handful of kind of things that I regret and I don't even want to talk about them. Like I don't even want to. I'm like because they're just these
it's like
things.
when
But
you
I'm like,
watch one of those scenes, those awkward scenes in a movie, and it like
it's so
makes
cringy.
it's like so hard to even watch. Yeah,
it's so or it's so cringe. I think is how you're supposed to say it now.
Right,
Anyways, but and it's like, but I think the ones that stick with me the most are when that element of the unknown is there, where I'm like, did I? And I'll just one of the examples was like, I'll say as a like 20-year-old. And it was attempts at evangelization that were just not good.
Yep.
Like really, coming from a place of probably anxiety or whatever. Anyways, that's all I want to say about that. But it's the unknown where it's this lingering question in my mind where I'm like, have I pushed people away from Christ forever? Like that is like this thing. Or similar to Rachel, where you're like, have I corrupted these young women forever?
Yeah.
Like, or whatever it is. Like, what is the impact of my actions? So I think that unknown is scary. But I think also with that, I'm just reflecting now. It's like perhaps sometimes an overestimation of my own influence.
Yes.
And an underestimation of the way that God already knew that I'm like stupid sometimes and like can clean up my messes, is quite capable of that. Right.
Yeah.
So I wonder, I wonder if we can talk about how like regret might be an invitation to trust God in a more deeper way with our own frailty and our own mistakes. Like, regardless of how, extreme. And I mean, I think it's clear to say like sometimes we've done things that are really bad and that we need to like make reparations.
Right.
Like we need to apologize. Yes. We need to do something concrete to make reparations. And so I'm not saying that like if that's the case, like, and yes, we are all called to do that. But I think that where that is either not possible or we've done that but still feel regret, I think that's where this conversation is kind of taking place. So where is the role of like our invitation to trust God in that? Yeah.
I also want to pause on what you said earlier, Nicole, because I think that was a really great articulation of this, where the evil one can really get in, which is like it becomes an obsession of our weakness. Yeah. And this is not like the Lord like came because we are weak. And it's like also like came to transform our lives. And I have a family member, a priest, who really kind of drilled this home for me when I was a kid. And I think this is maybe why I don't have this problem as much, because it was given to me when I was a child of like the Lord can transform anything such that even the worst thing can be a pathway to glorify him, to give him greater, like, and sometimes even greater glory. We know that that's the lives of the saints. Like, and there's a thing where like there was a thing lost, like you did sin or you did misstep or, and you can never unring that bell or go back and redo the thing. But I think that, the whole point of the resurrection, the oh happy fault of it all, is that like, I think that if we don't give the Lord a chance to make something new, truly, from those very materials, like from those very situations, then we're sort of not comprehending God's whole thing, like the whole thing that he's trying to tell us about, like why, what his love is capable of, which is like making the cross a focal point, because even us killing God is not
it's not
like
something that can,
is a redeemable.
Yeah.
It's
I think like it kind of strikes me that it's pretty in line with this podcast, because that's the, like, with the crux of the podcast anyways, because that's exactly it. It's like the cross and the resurrection are inextricably linked no matter what. But I think, like, it occurs to me actually that in my own experiences of regret, part of it is like the reason that it's uncomfortable is because it's painful, either because I recognize that I caused somebody else pain and I don't like that, or also because, and there's like a selfish element to it too, because it's like I caused somebody else pain, or I did something that I shouldn't have, or I said something that I shouldn't have, and it makes me look bad. And I don't want to look bad to other people, or it's just the cringiness of it. Like, it causes me pain to look at this thing because it's like cringe. And so then it's like, but it's kind of like exactly what you said, Nicole, of like overestimating our own. I mean, I don't think we should underestimate our own influence, but I don't think we should overestimate our own influence as something that is divided from, like what you say, Rachel, from what Christ can do with things. And so, like, even being able to be willing to go into the pain of the regret about something for whatever reason, whether it's because we hurt somebody, or because it's whether we feel like insecure that we did something that was maybe not going to put us in a good light or something like that, like to be able to actually go in that and to let the Lord, to be able to give kind of an assent of faith in that moment to the Lord's omnipotence over everything. And like, you know, that it really can become this way of increasing our trust in the Lord, and just giving people to him, because they don't belong to me. Like, they belong to him, especially people where it's like, where it's a matter of whether it's like, you know, salvation, like you're talking about early evangelization, but like really where it is like really important things, it can be so hard to let those people in those situations go into his hands. Because then it's like we're surrendering total control of it in some ways, even though for the most part we have no control of it anyways, because it's like things that, you know, may have happened in the past that we can't go back and change, you know, but for some reason, like, we kind of cling on to them and think that we can change the outcomes in our minds.
And I also think this is making me think of two things. Like, one is, so there's things that we like sin and wrong things that we've done, or like mistakes that we've made that we regret. But then there's also like, maybe you wish you had have gone down this fork in the road rather than this one.
The other
this one's you know. But I think that, okay, so then this makes me think of like, okay, we're limited. We are limited. Like, at the time, that was the fork, and that's what you chose. And it's okay. Like, you don't know. Like, you think if you had chosen this other fork, your life would have been this or that or the other thing. You don't know that. Like, you are a limited temporal creature. You live in time. And then this puts me in mind of another thing, because one of the things I feel God is like asking me to work on this year is, I thought I was really good at being I'm a very present oriented person, in the sense that I'm like fully where I am. I'm a good multitasker. So I'm not like, right now I'm here with you guys. I'm not literally thinking about anything else. And I don't think I'm very capable of doing that. So that's a good thing. But so I thought like, oh, I'm really good at being present, you know, and yes, okay, sure. I do have some skills there. But one thing I realized is I'm not necessarily good at integrating my past and my future into my present. So people can be bad at that in the way of like ruminating on the past or ruminating on the future. I'm bad at it in the way of like, I'm in the present and I just kind of cut off the past and I cut off the future sometimes. And I'm learning now that my present has to be integrated with everything that has come before me. I don't have to ruminate on it actually at all. I don't have to think about it, but I just have to accept it. Like, this is where I'm at. And where I'm at is all of the choices and all the things that have happened to me that have led me to this moment. And all I have to do is say like, Lord, I accept that. And my future involves this person, me right now, not some other fancy person that I would like to be that's going to craft a brilliant future. It's like this limited, flawed person that has to move into my future. And I don't know my future, but I have to accept this person. So I think a lot of this is also the devil like wanting to remove you from the present and like jolt you back into the past, or like, you know, make you super anxious about the future. And the answer to that, I'm realizing, is not like cutting those things off, but just accepting like, this is who I am right now. This is who I am. And God is working with this person like right now. And I can accept, I need to just receive that, accept that I'm limited. And I'm temporal. And here is where I am. And I can do this with the Lord, you know? So that time thing, like that we're just creatures. We're not God.
What?
Just creatures. Shocker.
Yeah. Oh, I think that's so good. I think it's all so good.
The like, even as you're talking, I'm like, oh yeah, totally. That's me. Like I 100% often struggle with the coulda, woulda, shouldas, especially of things that I want, because like I have a desire for holiness that's good. I have a desire for love, to love the Lord and to love others, that's good. But I don't love my littleness. I don't love my limitations. I don't love my imperfections. I don't, and it's like, I find it so, like, sometimes it's so hard to accept those things about myself. And if I can't accept those things about myself, then I can't accept the ways that I've fallen short of whatever even unreasonable expectation I've put on myself in my head. So then I can live in this place of regret that's like, I should have prayed more. I should have done more to serve this person. I should have said these loving things. I should have like done these things, and all of these things that I didn't do, exactly as you said, Rachel, because the person in that moment did not probably, I mean, sometimes maybe, yes, it was omitted because of sin, but most likely, most of the time for me, it's because the person in that moment didn't have the capacity to do those things for whatever reason. But then to be able to accept that, and to be able to accept that the Lord writes straight with crooked lines. Like that was one thing that was like coming to my head, is like, he has the capacity to do that 100%. And he does that. It's like, it's almost like he doesn't write in a straight line ever, because he's working with flawed human beings. So for us to expect that he's going to be able to write with us in a straight line is so ridiculous. Like at its face, you know?
Yeah, exactly.
There's a quote by Saint Therese that I don't actually remember well, so I'm going to butcher it. But like, I think it's Saint Therese. It's either Therese or Teresa of Avila. But like something about like a soul that is at peace with their own weaknesses and flaws and even sinfulness is like a happy home for God. And what she meant by that is like that, like we just recognize, like we have the humility to recognize, like, Lord, I really do need you, and I really do struggle with all these things. And there's the sin part of it. I don't think she meant like you be okay with your sin, but she meant like, don't be shocked that you sin. Right. Like, don't be scandalized by your own weakness. Like, immediately repent. Like, have the humility to just immediately repent. Go to the Lord. He's your Father. He loves you. Guess what? He's not shocked, but he's going to help you. Like, he's going to help us, you know?
Well, and I remember reading that, and it says, if you are shocked by your own weakness, then that just means that you also have pride. And now you know.
That's right.
Now you know, don't be shocked by that.
Because like that's just, and then that's, accept that too.
Yeah, exactly. And I think Mother Teresa has the quote, the past is gone, tomorrow is not yet come, we have only today to love Jesus, which is such a beautiful thing to think about. And I think there's the book, actually I kind of want to read it now, the Sacrament of the Present Moment, which I think is by Dom Chotard. I think that's
it's so good. Wait, is that the thing? No, maybe I'm thinking of a different one. There's another one about the present moment, the practice of the present moment,
something like that.
I think
maybe it's the same one, and it's just different translations.
It might be the different one. I
don't know. Well, we'll look into it.
The Practice of the Presence of God by Brother Lawrence?
Yeah, that one.
That's it.
So like, those two are like really both excellent ones and that's even like when you think about when St. Ignatius talks to the Jesuits and says, like, if you don't omit your examen for the day. If you omit anything else, if you can't do anything else, do the examen of the day, because then it's this way. I'll put a link to it in the show notes if you don't know what it is, but it's just this way of reviewing your day to see where the Lord was, and it helps you then to be like, I found it helpful to, like, having looked back and getting into this practice of looking back on my days and seeing where the Lord was, that I like miss him because I was living in, you know, the past or the future or whatever, then it can, like, you get better at being with the Lord in the present moment when he's giving gifts or when he's, you know, when he's directing you or speaking or like whatever the case is. And that's exactly it. Like, the Lord loves me, Erin, in each moment, the person that I am, just like you said, Rachel, you know, so like to let him love us in those moments is, is like a beautiful thing, but difficult, to live in the present moment.
I think I maybe mentioned this other resource before, like early, maybe our first season, but there's people probably know him, Dr. Greg Bottaro is like Catholic psychologist, and he does like a book on mindfulness, which is just like practical tools to help you do this if you struggle with anxiety really or things like that. So he's got lots of like exercises, just physical things to do to help you be present.
Yes.
So and it's really good because it takes away I think a lot of Catholics have a fear of the word mindfulness because it's new age, you know. But what he's actually teaching is like, no, how do we actually just come into the present moment in our minds and not be caught up in a past? And that's, you know, it's a good
to entrust our past to the Lord and our future to the Lord and to be with him in the present.
Yes.
Which is sounds really great. It's one sentence. So very difficult to do.
super easy. Yeah.
That's right. Exactly.
Oh, there's also Catherine Doherty. I just remembered her. Like anything that she wrote so much about the duty of the present moment.
Yeah.
She also
I was going to say, it is easy for Rachel. She only has one regret. That's amazing. That's perfect.
You know, Rachel's fine. Yeah.
I know. I realize I live in a box, the cut off from my past and my future. So I'm trying to do some whole other thing.
Once you open those boxes, you might have more regrets. We'll see.
That's right. I'll let y'all know at the end of this year.
I pulled up our list of stuff. Do you want to do the
perfect? Yeah, let's talk about it. So we did. Okay, so we have done, folks, like for the last few years, like a word of the year, and we've used Jennifer Fulweiler's Word of the Year and Saint of the Year generators. We also have kind of maybe personally, some of us have discerned other words as well, but I think we're going to share the ones that we came up with the generator today. Yeah. To start, maybe the other words will come up in future episodes potentially.
Which is kind of fun, yeah. Good.
So go for it, Erin.
We can start with our secret prayer partner.
Does she want us to share? I don't know if she would.
Okay, we'll skip her then. We'll keep it just in case. So we'll just say that it was fun. We had a nice laugh. It was good. Yeah. So the next one we did is, so my word for the year is higher, which is fun. So maybe I'll move to a different elevation, to a mountain or something, or I'll start doing drugs, one or the other.
You're going to levitate.
Maybe, yeah, I think that's probably it. That's probably it. The Lord wants to give me the gift of levitation. That's right. And then my saint of the year, we also did those with Saint Eugene Mazenod, which is fun. And then Nicole's was run.
Which is great because I've been trying to like walk and run more. So I was like, Lord, you gave me a very literal, just exercise, honey. You know, it's good.
So funny.
Only the Lord can tell you that, and you would be offended.
Because immediately in my head, when the word came up, I was like, run! Like,
oh yeah.
Like full steam.
Like run away from something.
Yeah. So
and I was like, oh, got to get my steps in. It's
excellent. Good. See, it makes a difference about who gets it as to what it means.
The Lord cares about our physical fitness too.
And so your Saint Nicole was Saint Mateo Correa Magallanes. I don't know how to say it properly, but he is a Mexican saint who was martyred at the same. Yeah. He was the gave first communion to Blessed Miguel Pro. That was cool. The thing. Yeah,
I'm gonna look him up. Hadn't heard of him before.
And then Rachel's word was enrich.
Yeah.
So she's gonna win.
She's gonna be doing
the
a lot
lottery.
Of baking.
That's right.
Yeah. Altogether, multiple ways to interpret.
That's right. Exactly. Yeah. And then your saint was Saint Ferdinand III of Castile, which is fun.
Cool man.
So, and we did look it up and see what he was the patron saint of, and so from it we've discerned that Rachel will indeed marry an engineer, or a king.
Or a king, yeah. Or both. It could be a king
maybe who's an engineer. Yeah, that's right.
So if you're listening to this and you are the monarch of a country and
Yeah.
you're also an engineer, please contact
That's right.
us. And
This might be
unmarried.
this is your sign.
And unmarried.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
no
crucial,
countries that practice polygamism. Yeah.
No,
polygamy.
yeah,
Right.
not interested.
Is
in
polygamism
yeah.
a word? No.
I
Polygamy.
think it would be bigamy.
But just
like,
polygamy.
Right.
Yeah.
Yes. Talking
Yeah,
is
that's good.
fun.
Or both.
It's good.
yeah. No, just to be clear, no polygamy or bigamy or any of that
Correct.
stuff.
Right. Yes.
Just
No.
a good old ordinary royal engineer.
Okay,
that's all
perfect.
that
There
we're
you
looking
go.
for here.
That's all Rachel wants.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect. That's good. Yeah, we have no idea I don't even know what the patron saint of, or what Saint Eugene de Mazenod is patron saint of, but I'll look that up later. But then we tried to look it up for
There you go.
Nicole's, but there was,
He's not patron saint of anything yet.
that's right. Exactly.
I
You can
maybe
make
I'll
him.
ask his
Give us some
intercession
stuff.
for like everything in
For
my life,
running.
and then whatever happens, I'll be like, yeah, maybe. Can be the patron saint of things
Yeah,
in my life.
exactly.
It's good.
That's perfect.
plan.
I love that.
Yeah, it's good.
Oh, that's fun.
All right. Well, we wish you all a wonderful 2025, and we'll talk to you soon.
Yeah.
You'll hear from us, most of us.
Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Exactly. As we move along, it'll be a surprise. You're never going to know from week to week if we're moving
That's
backward
true.
or forward in time, or
Yeah.
so just stay in the
Has long
sacrament
hair,
of the
short
present
hair.
moment. That's all.
That's right.
That's all.
That's
we
right.
should
That's
do.
what we're doing this for you.
That's right.
Yeah. Yeah. Exactly. All right. Thanks for listening, everybody.
All right.
God
Bye,
bless you
everyone.
guys. Bye.
Thank you for joining us for this episode of In the Thicket. If you like what you hear, give us a rating and hit that subscribe button. We have new episodes every Monday with more stories and honest conversations about life when the going gets rough and the hope and humor amidst it all. We'd love for you to join our community on Instagram and Facebook at In the Thicket Podcast. While you're there, let us know how we can pray for you. God bless and see you next week.